Namaste, Nicole Farrell here, Kachina Yoga, and welcome to this mini course entitled Alignment. I am so excited that you are here. I'm so excited to be here and to be bringing this course with little tidbits and tips throughout the month of February 2020 that can help you and assist you in coming into a space of alignment. So these will be a series of tips and tidbits that will come through yogic poses, breath work, meditation, aligning with the elements, and aligning with energy in general. So I'm really excited about this. I hope you will indeed tune in and take advantage of all of these free tips and tidbits, and I hope you will actually incorporate them into your daily life. So what are we aligning with? We are aligning with nature. So I don't know about you, but I like to always start off a new project with the proper definitions of things, because the proper definition of things helps you to be actually in alignment with what it is the project is, and this project is aligning with nature. So I want to do the definition of alignment, and I want to do the definition of nature. So let's start off with alignment, and this is going to be courtesy of Merriam-Webster's online dictionary. So alignment is the an arrangement or groups of forces in relation to one another, alignments within the political party. It is the ground plan as of a railroad or highway in distinction from the profile. It is the forming of a line, like the line form. And it is the act of aligning or state of being aligned, especially the proper positioning or state of adjustment of parts as in mechanical or electronic device in relation to each other. So, all that sounds like it works pretty well for the body. A line formed, your spine is aligned. It's a straight line that we try to keep nice and aligned. If you ever hear people talk about the spine, align your spine whenever you're in yoga, you're any type of chiropractic, any type of body movements, you're going to hear about aligning your spine. So that's putting it in a straight line. Then we also have the ground plan as in a railroad or highway. If you think about the body and the fact that you have veins, you have arteries, you have nerves, and you have nadis or meridians, then you have highways or railroads all throughout your body carrying energy to each cell within the body, each organ within the body, that is mentally, physically, and energetically. So we have this floor plan laid out. You can even see the structure in the brain with it, the structure in the nerves, the structure in the veins, the structure in the meridian system. So also an arrangement or groups, or forces in relation to one another, as in a new alignment within the political party. So groups, so you can think about being aligned with a mission statement, being aligned with maybe a company that you work in, an organization that you belong to. Those usually a mission statement that they have you sign off on, a code of conduct or something that you're aligned with that. Anytime you sign a contract, you're aligning with something. Whatever the terms are of that contract, you're aligning with something. You're aligning with the elements, whether you realize it or not. But sometimes your alignment can be influenced. You're aligning with movies that you watch, books that you read, music that you listen to, news that you see, social media. You're aligning yourself with many different things, whether you realize it or not. So in order to realize what you are aligned with, you need to be aligned physically, mentally, and energetically within self, because that brings you into your space of harmony and purification so that you can align with everything else properly. You can't align with anything else properly if you're not properly aligned with self, because say you are aligned with something else, but then you realize that, hey, I haven't really been being authentic to self, and I really just don't like it when this happens. And then you get back to that space of alignment. Now all of a sudden, this is not really aligned, where it was when you were faking it to make it. Alignment is really being in charge and in understanding of self first, okay? So let's get into the definition of nature. So, nature has a really big definition. Again, this is courtesy of Merriam-Webster's online dictionary. So, one definition is the inherent character or basic constitution of a person or thing, its essence. So, it's your inherent character, your nature is inside of you. It is your essence. Essence. Disposition or temperament, like you might hear, he has it's just his nature to be mad, or it's just his nature to be flirty, or it's just her nature to blow up, or it's just her nature to be so sweet and kind. Whatever it is, it's just their nature, right? They're just a giving person by nature. That's their disposition or temperament. A creative and controlling force in the universe. So we always hear about Mother Nature. You can't fool Mother Nature. You can't change Mother Nature. Mother Nature, Mother Nature, the creative or controlling force within the nature, within the universe. Then we have an inner force, such as instinct, appetite, desire, or the sum of such forces in an individual. So, inside of you, an inner force. So, your nature within you, an inner force. And the force that is within you is your energy. It is your force of energy. And it is your responsibility with the way that you wield it. And this is why it's it behooves you to be within your nature, to understand your nature, so that you can be in control of the way that you're wielding your energy at any time. But that requires alignment. That requires you to line everything up. So, let's see, the other one says humankind's original or natural condition. So human nature. It's human nature to do this. It's human nature to do that. A simplified mode of life resembling the condition of get out of the city and get into nature. Get back into nature. Get back into the simple things. Get back into grandma's soup and not Campbell's. You know, Campbell's seems like it's simple, but all the preservatives are in there, or whatever, Campbell's, Progress, all of them, okay? So I don't need Campbell's coming after me, but get back into the simple things. Stop chasing everything complicated and just take some time to get back into nature. That's what it's saying. And then the genetically controlled qualities of an organism. So your ancestral inheritance, your DNA, so your genetically controlled qualities. Control, do you hear that word? And then natural scenery, as I enjoyed the beautiful scenery of nature. So nature is what we are coming into alignment with, and becoming into alignment with ourselves allows us to become in alignment with all of nature and all of those channels within the body, all of the channels within the external us as well. So coming into alignment with nature is going to require us to come into alignment with the body through yoga. It's going to require, or through movement, I should say. It's going to require us to come in alignment with prana through the breath. It's going to require us to come into alignment with the mind through meditation. It's going to require us to come into alignment with water. It's going to require us to come into alignment with fire, air, earth, ether. It's going to require us to come into alignment with our inner child, with our masculine, with our feminine. Alignment requires you to line up all the dominoes. You know, they all move and roll the way you want them to, not that they're all flying all over the place. You want a nice alignment when you do the flick the dominoes. Everybody moves and everybody ends up finishing the puzzle or the little layout the way you want it to be, not the way it just so haphazardly falls because you're not in alignment when you started it off. You got to be meticulous with your alignment, and that's what we're going to be working on this month. So like I said, the first thing that I'm going to recommend that you get for this course is going to be a journal. And recommend you journal out how you're feeling this month, each day's exercise, and also incorporate them into your daily life, because being in alignment is requiring many different limbs of movement at the same time. So in yoga, there are generally 8 limbs, and all 8 of them encompass yoga. So think about how many things you are coming into alignment with. You're doing juggling, right? So you're juggling and managing a lot at the same time, bringing it all into one. Okay, how many jobs you got? I got 15 jobs, man. So alignment is going to be our main focus. We're going to keep an open mind, journal it all out, keep an open heart. You know, allow yourself to come out of a space of judgment, and allow yourself to come out of a space of confinement. And when I say that, you need to really allow your inner child to express, because that's your creative, that's your most innocent space, that's your higher self space, that is your more trusting space and vulnerable space, and that's what you need right now, is a space of vulnerability when you're coming into alignment, because you're going to need to utilize the senses. The senses are very, 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 very beneficial tools when you're coming into alignment. When you think about taste, touch, smell, hearing, sight, and knowing, if you lost any of those, you would not really feel as aligned as you were when you had it before, right? If you ever had them and lost them, you would not feel as aligned as you were when you had them before. If you never had them all, then you probably would be okay. But if you lost them, you had them and lost them, now all of a sudden I can't see anymore, or I can't hear anymore, you're gonna start bumping into things, or maybe somebody's beeping at you and you can't hear, and you keep walking across the street. I mean, all kinds of obstacles may be presented to you now, because you're losing your senses. Your senses are a part of your inner force, that nature, the inner force. Remember, everything begins on the inside first. So those senses are very important, and one of the biggest senses that we have, the biggest sense that we have, is the sexual sense. Okay, that's the biggest sensory that we have, is sex. So that's another place that we need to come into alignment with. So I want you to ask yourself a few questions. This is our first video, just the course intentions. I just want you to know how it goes, how the course is going to flow, and so that we can be in alignment with what it is we're doing. But today I want you to sit with yourself and do a self-assessment or an evaluation of where you are in your life. Write out each relationship that you have, be it with each family member separately. So if you have 4 kids, write those separately. If you have a husband and a mother, father, and a uncle, and that's all, write all that out. If you have the whole full-blown family, write all that out. If you got 6 girlfriends, write all that out. And everybody, and then all your relationship with everybody that you interact with on a daily basis, be it at work or whatever. Then I want you to add to that list money. And I want you to add to that list self-value, self-love, self-respect, self-confidence, and gratitude. And I want you to literally write down how often you feel like you are being authentic in each one of these relationships, with each one of these people, and each one of these spaces within. And I want you to do an evaluation and assessment of how often you're keeping your word. So that's your word to yourself, as well as a word to another. So keeping your word to self is going to be the first evaluation. Is what I'm doing benefiting me, or is it actually detrimental to my development, to my moving forward in my life to where I want it to go? So is it benefiting me? Is it just kind of in the middle? It's neutral, or is it detrimental? You need to take an assessment of each one of these areas, and how you're keeping your word. So are you in relationships where you just want somebody or something so much to be yours that you don't feel like you need to be authentic with that other person because you want them to be around? So it could be a relationship with a lover, it could be a relationship with a friend, It could be a relationship with a parent. I can't be myself completely with you, but I love you and I want you in my life. So I just hide bits and pieces of myself. And I want you to write and evaluate that as well, each one of the people in your life. So things like that. And then I want you to evaluate the word that you keep with others. So how is your credit? Because that is a word that you keep with others, because that's part of a relationship. How is your word with your friends? How is your word with your wife? How is your word with your job? How is your word with money? How are you keeping your word and your authenticity within self and what it is that's beneficial or detrimental to you, and within others? So that's your first assignment, to write in your journal and find so we know where our space of authenticity is, so we know what we're looking at and what we're trying to change and what we're trying to gauge, so that we can get into alignment with nature, which is the controlling force of the universe and inner force. So if you're not in alignment with nature, you're not in alignment with your life, and things are probably pretty chaotic. So first things first, it's time to take some inventory. So self-assessment, lesson number 1. I'm so excited. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Get that journal, get to work in, and I will be back. I will see you soon. And remember that at the end of the day, guess what? There's only one you. So you have no choice but to shine. The divine in me bows in gratitude to the divine in each and every one.